Well, good morning everyone and welcome once again to Ed's Orchids. Now what I'm going to do today, I'm going to do something with this Golf Green. It's in very small coconut husk and the roots aren't doing particularly well. There's no nubbins on it and I can't see anything growing. All the things that have grown have grown and they're not producing any more growth. So I'm going to cut all these wires, I'm going to take it out of the pot and I'm going to repot it in some large coconut husk. See, that's what it's in and that's where I'm going to put it in. So let's get this out of its pot first. Let's take all these wires off. Because it'll need wiring up again afterwards, I think. See, they're only wrapped around here very loosely, so there's room for the pseudobulbs to grow. There's no marks on where I've been round them. And actually it's been on that long, they should hold them straight up now. But you never know, do you? So this is a bit of fiddly job getting this off, and it's going to take me about 7 or 8 minutes, so I'll switch off and I'll come back to you when it's finished. Well, I've taken all the wires off and I've got it fastened up better than I thought. And this is the Cattleya Golf Green. So what we're going to do now is take it out of its pot and have a good look to see what's happening with the root system. There's a dead root here to start with, so we'll chop that off. And this has been in here for quite some time, but it's always a bit loath and very short of roots. We'll get all this husk off and we'll see what's what. There is a little bit of growth. And I think the growth is a little bit better than I thought it was. But why are the roots staying on top of the compost and not working the way down? And that tells me one thing, that if a plant sends its roots on the top and doesn't go down into the substrate, then it doesn't like the substrate it's in. That's how I think, anyhow. I might be wrong, but well, it's not as bad as I thought it was. But everything could do with a good clean up occasionally. There's quite a good few growing roots on, but a lot of dead roots, so they'll all get removed. I'll try and get these husks out of here. So some of the roots are stuck to the husk, so that's a good sign. In fact, it does look like it's going to come apart, this. If it comes apart, then we've got 2 plants with 4 pseudobulbs on each. Now then, I'll just get the camera and show you. I don't like what I'm seeing actually. You see what I mean? There's a bunch of roots here, there's some dead ones, and There's some that are growing sideways, nothing really going downwards, but underneath it's not nice at all. Look at that, a lot of dead roots. So what do I do with this? I think I'll put it in some of that big husk, and like I said, and see how it goes on in there. Right, we'll just start trimming it now where these soup, no. I don't know where this needs cutting, to tell you the truth. Let's take some of these dead roots off and then we might be able to find out. There's loads and loads of dead roots here. There's a lot more dead roots than live roots, but it's getting at them. This is not a nice root system, not nice at all. Let's see what happens when I force it. Yeah, it just breaks there. Broke there naturally, so I'll cut it there naturally. There we are, that should do it. I never thought I'd get round to doing this with this plant, but let's take these off, these pseudobulbs, and this one. I might be doing everything wrong, but you never know. Right, now we can get to work on cleaning the plant up. That's still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pseudobulbs on that. That's fine. So that shouldn't take any on. But let's get this all cleaned up and see where we can go from there. Because I've just been watching this and watching and think, well, that is a nice plant, but nothing's happening to it. So you've got to find out why nothing's happening. And I hope it's because, well, I don't know, I'm only speculating. But, removing all these dead roots won't do it any harm. Well, that's one of the pieces almost cleaned up there. So, doing no more snipping at this one. And it can't be the coconut husk because I've got one here where the root has grown straight through the coconut husk. So I don't know what's meant to bother. Maybe you see, with bees being inside and it being warm inside, I thought it would dry up very quickly, but evidently they're not drying up very quickly, and I've probably kept these just a little bit too wet. So putting them in the large husk should do the trick nicely for me. So I'll pop this one up into the same pot as it came out of to give it room to grow. That's the new growth there, so we'll put it in like that. Right, they're the husks that it came out of, and here's the ones that it's going back in. You see the difference in size. Much bigger pieces there. So I hope it does better in these as well, because when you get them from abroad, they're growing very well, but they're in very large pieces of husk, and you have a job to get them out. So I'm hoping this one will do okay in this one, because I've two to do. And this husk, you know, when I took it out of the water it had been soaking in, it was down to 7 parts per million. So then I soaked it in some warm water in calcium nitrate. So it should be alright for feeding this for a couple of weeks. We'll put some of, look at the large pieces here. We'll put some of those in to begin with. Yeah, some of the pieces have still got that very hard outer shell on it, like this one. So we'll put that in there. A few more, yeah. Get it to the right depth. Nope. That should do it. Yeah, I can always lift it up afterwards. So, I mean, you should put pieces of bark, of husk, inside there, but with it being so flat, there's nowhere to put it. So just hang it in there and then fasten it up. Now this bark is very wet. As I said, it's just been soaked in calcium nitrate. So this plant will definitely need wiring up. And I try and fill as many gaps up as I can. And the wrong way around really. It should be that way around, because this is the new growth. Like abroad, I mean, I've seen them when they're doing these abroad, and they just bang them in and away they go. You know, it never works for us. Do you know, I'm going to wire that up like that. So it's got plenty of air, it's got moisture if it wants it, and then it should be fine. And I've just put some coconut husk down there, because this is the new growth that has no roots in yet. So we'll make sure the roots have got something to reach down to. Right, well, be careful, as this is going to fall over. Whoopsie daisy. Right, well, we've got some of this 1/2 millimetre aluminium wire, so we'll just fasten this to the side and then work our way to all the other stuff, so they're all nicely and neatly put away, so they won't fall over, and nicely secure. 1/2 millimetre aluminium wire to wire everything up. So we'll just fasten this side to the to the pot just to make sure it's firm before I start doing the others. I mean, you can't see it from there, but I'm just fastening the first one up to make sure it doesn't fall over while I'm doing the others. Just wrap it around nice and gently. I mean, it's quite firm now, you know, with just doing that. But we want all these nicely wrapped like that. So if we fasten this one, just go around nice and gently again. Easy to do once you're used to it. Just wrap it around nicely. Doesn't need to be very neat, but it looks better if you're neat with it. And then we'll thread this through the other end of the pot. That will pull it slightly this way, which is fine. Fasten that one up, make sure it doesn't come loose. And then if we fasten this other one up here, let's wrap it round. Fasten this one up to here, then it should be totally secure. Just wants a few adjustments now. You will find that when you're doing this, you will have to make adjustments, because when you put the wire on one, it alters it on the other one. If you see what I mean. So you have to keep adjusting them to make sure you've got the strength in them. Or rather the firmness to hold them in position. And that's not too bad. Just tighten this one up a bit more. The more I tighten this one up, the more slacker the other side goes. It's easy to do, but it's time consuming. Right. Then we've got this one. Put round there rather neatly. Needs to be fastened to this one. And this will make them all stand up straight. The new growth is perfect. So let's hope we can get some new growth off this one. A bit too much wire here. We'll fasten that around there. I'm doing a lot of talking to myself here, I'm sorry. But that's me when I'm doing a job. Right, I should be able to lift this up now without pulling it out of its pot. Yep. So that's fine. That's more or less fine. I'll leave that one like that. And now we've got another one to do. But you don't want me to see me do that one, do you? No. No, I don't. Alright, I won't do then. I'll just cut all these dead roots off and redo this one. Now this plant has been a nightmare to clean up, and I think it's my fault. I think I've made the old mistake of not taking into account this one was in coconut husk, and I've been watering it exactly the same as the others. Instead of putting those in coconut husk on one side and leaving them a lot longer until they get unwatered again. So it's my fault what's happened to this one. So it's up to me to rectify it, and I think I've found a new growth there. So those are the few roots that are left, one or two growing tips on it, but as usual, all dead in the middle. But I'm glad I found the reason for it, and I'm actually glad it's my fault, because if it's my fault I can do something about it. So we'll get this one potting up as well, and we'll put both of these plants on one side and water them at different intervals. Well, I've got another pot here for the second one, and I think the holes are big enough in the sides now, because these Golf Greens don't seem to have very thick roots. So we'll just pop this one up, and I'll show you them both together when they're finished. Well, we'll do like we did before. Put this in the bottom. Got to make sure the rhizome isn't buried, but I don't think it matters, because there'll be plenty and plenty of spaces. So it's not like we're going to cut off the air to them. Far from it. This is the new growth here, and that's at the side, so if these take off in here, they should be alright for a couple of years. Well, I'll keep putting these little and big pieces in to make sure there's something for the roots to adhere to. I think that's about right. So what I'll do now is wire it up. I'll put one or two pieces down there. That's it, and I'll get that wired up now. I'll not do that on video because you've seen it all done before. Two plants, or this one plant, was an absolute nightmare to do. It just had to be split, or I don't think anything would have happened to it. I think it would just stop like it is and then slowly die off. I mean, the wires you can see at the bottom are not only to hold it steady in the pot, but it also helps the pseudoballs to stand straight up. So instead of one golf green, I've now got 2 golf greens, and I hope they both take off, but I've got to remember not to water them so often. Well, thank you very much for watching. I've had enough for today of repotting after those 2. So thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you to the comments, which I do like to read and I do like to reply to. So until next time, I'd like to thank all my subscribers again, and wish you all the best for the growing season. And until next time, which I am repotting again, I think it's the frags. I'll see you later. Bye.